So I've never seen this video before, and I've decided to take up the challenge to try to understand one of the world's fastest English speakers without subtitles, just my ears.
Well, when I was 12 years old growing up on Long Island, there was a cerebral palsy fair a few blocks away from my house, and they announced that they would donate $2,000 to cerebral palsy for anyone that broke a Guinness record. So at first I wanted to ride the roller coaster at Coney Island, so I called Coney Island and they said, hey, take a hike at 12 years old. We're not going to let you strap yourself into this.
Meet John Moshida. He's known as the fast-talking guy and was credited in the Guinness Book of World Records for being able to articulate a whopping 586 words per minute. One of the things that I hear all the time from learners is just how difficult it is to understand English because we natives speak so fast. So I thought it'd be pretty interesting for me as a native English speaker to try to understand an English speaker who actually can speak extremely fast. Want to see how I did?
Challenge accepted.
Well, when I was 12 years old growing up on Long Island, there was a cerebral palsy fair a few blocks away from my house, and they announced that they would donate $2,000 to cerebral palsy for anyone that broke a Guinness record. So at first I wanted to ride the roller coaster at Coney Island, so I called Coney Island and they said, hey, take a hike at 12 years old. We're not going to let you strap yourself into the cyclone for 2 weeks straight. So I went home and I started flipping through the book and decided I was going to eat a car, swallow lead pipes. So the next best thing was to lock myself in a room and teach myself how to do the fast talking. I also grew up in a family with 5 sisters, so to get a word in edgewise, it was self-defense.
Okay, so here's what I got as like the main gist of the video. He's talking a little bit about where he grew up on Long Island, which is in New York State, and that I believe he said he had cerebral palsy, which I believe is like a mental disorder, but I'm not sure if he exactly said that he had that or someone else had that. And he talked a little bit about his family as well, that he grew up with sisters, and so in his family, in order to get a word in edgewise, which we'll talk about later if I got the right expression there, that he had to be able to speak pretty quickly. So yeah, pretty insane, right? And by the way, before I said that I was going to say the main gist of the video. So the gist of something is the main ideas contained within it. It's kind of the essence of the point being made. And so if you want to go from being a lost and insecure English learner and become a confident and natural English speaker, even though you might not speak as fast as this guy, then definitely hit that subscribe button and the bell down below so that you can join our community of hundreds of thousands of learners from around the world that are doing exactly that. All right. So I'm sure that you want to be able to understand this guy better. A really important thing there would be to actually learn some of the words and expressions that he's using. So I'm going to try to hear some of those and then explain them to you. So let's take another watch. Okay, and I think I'll actually watch it at 0.5 speed this time so I can hear him more like a normal person and catch some of those terms to define to you guys.
Well, when I was 12 years old growing up on Long Island, there was a cerebral palsy fair a few blocks away from my house, and they announced that they would donate $2,000 to cerebral palsy for anyone that broke a Guinness record. So at first I wanted to ride the roller coaster at Coney Island, so I called Coney Island and they said, hey kid, take a hike at 12 years old. We're not going to let you strap yourself into the cyclone for 2 weeks straight. So I went home and I started flipping through the book and decided I wasn't going to eat a car, swallow lead pipes. So the next best thing was to lock myself in a room and teach myself how to do the fast talking.
Okay, so I could understand it a lot better that time. Sometimes it can be great just to slow it down a little bit. Never need to feel embarrassed about doing that if you're not quite getting it at full speed. So definitely there's a lot of really great vocabulary here. We can see that he participated in a contest to actually help people out, to help get money donated to people suffering from this disorder, cerebral palsy. And he used several interesting expressions here. So let's go over some of the ones that I noticed. So cerebral palsy is actually a disorder that affects the muscles and balance. If you watch the TV show Breaking Bad, then you might remember that the main character, Son, actually suffered from this. He says that this organization will donate $2,000 for cerebral palsy. So donate something for something is basically that you will give something for an organization, for a cause. And this is actually quite funny. He said that at first the world record that he wanted to break was climbing to the top of a roller coaster at Coney Island. So Coney Island is a really famous amusement park in New York. I've actually been there when I was younger, the first time that I visited New York City. If you ever go there, it's a really cool place to check out. You can get there just by subway from Manhattan. And so he wanted to climb to the top of a famous roller coaster there, but of course they told him no, they're not crazy enough to let a little kid climb the top of a roller coaster because he might fall and break every bone in his body. So he said he got the idea to become a fast talker, to actually train himself in being able to speak faster, and that he locked himself in his room for over 2 weeks straight. Now, obviously, this is an exaggeration. He probably didn't actually lock himself in his room because he had to, eat and drink. But when you lock yourself in somewhere, in the sense, we just mean that, you really hunkered down and focused and did something. And we'll use the straight here. That's kind of an interesting collocation. Is 2 weeks straight, or 5 days straight, or 6 months straight. It means like during an entire period of time, kind of without stopping. He also mentions how he was flipping through a book. Now, if you know this verb flipping, it's kind of like to turn things over. So you can kind of imagine someone with their hand flipping over the pages of a book, right? It just means that you're kind of quickly going through it. It says he taught himself how to do the fast talking. So fast talking, obviously, is speaking really fast. And it's interesting too, this collocation, to teach yourself how to do something. So rather than having a teacher teach you, or someone who already knows about it teach you, you actually are being autodidactic. So you're teaching yourself. I've mentioned actually this other expression I caught before, that he grew up with his sisters, and he said that it was really difficult in that big family to get a word in edgewise. So you can imagine that with his family, they're all sitting around the table and everyone's talking, and he wants to get his parents' attention. But because, maybe his sisters speak faster, they speak louder, it's kind of hard to get that attention. So that's what that means. It's hard to get a word in edgewise. It's hard to actually be heard by the people that you want to hear you. And, maybe this could happen too if you work in a company and you're new there. Maybe it's difficult for you to get your opinion heard because maybe people don't know you yet, or they don't respect you yet so much. And so you really have to do things to kind of gain that respect from them. And he says that learning how to speak fast was like self-defense. Now you might imagine if someone were to attack you, you'd want to have some self-defense skills. You want to be able to, maybe a person's trying to physically rob you or something, and you could study judo so that you'd know how to like flip them over your shoulder or something like that. So it's basically doing something that helps to defend you from other people. So it could be from physical violence, as I just explained, but it could also just be like, that you're learning some sort of skill so that you'll be able to compete more with other people. So for example, maybe you're learning English kind of out of self-defense because you need to be able to compete in a very competitive field. And if you want to practice expressing yourself in English, then you absolutely have to give the Real Life English app a try. Now, this is the only place that you'll find where anytime, anywhere, you can simply press a button and instantly connect to another English speaker in another part of the world for a fun and dynamic conversation completely in English. And you could practice a lot of the expressions, the words that you've been learning today. You can do this more because maybe you want to be able to speak more naturally, more confidently, a little bit faster, and that's really going to come out of practice, just like this man's talking. Of course, you're never going to speak as fast as he does. I certainly would not want to speak that fast because it's difficult for people to understand you. But this is a great place for you to really gain the skills that you need to be an English communicator. So what are you waiting for? It's absolutely free. Download it now by clicking up here or down in the description below, or you can just search for Real Life English in the Apple app or Google Play Store. And now I'm actually really curious, what do other people think about this guy's fast talking? Why don't we take a look at the comments from this video? All right, so this one's pretty funny. We finally found him, the guy who reads the side effects. So the side effects are basically when you take a drug or a medication, they are the things that aren't like the primary thing that the drug's supposed to help you with or the medication's supposed to help you with, but they can still happen, and usually they're negative side effects. For example, with ibuprofen, which people might take for a headache, it can actually really negatively affect your stomach. It can give you stomach ulcers. All right, any rap fans out there? So this guy obviously is. Can you imagine this guy and Eminem doing a rap duo? LMAO, that would be crazy. That would be pretty crazy. I would like to see that. But LMAO, that means laughing my ass off. That means that you're laughing really, really hard. And actually, ass is a really interesting word. So if you want a lesson on that, then you could comment down below and let us know. Maybe we'll make that. And this is a really great acronym to use when you're texting or when you're writing a comment like this guy was. Just be careful because it is, not so formal, being that it is actually talking about the word ass. This person says how every teacher talks when you're taking notes. That's so true. When I was in university, I remember it was really difficult with some professors to take notes and actually keep up with everything that they were talking about. This man could single-handedly out-rap modern-day rappers easily. So if you single-handedly do something, it means you do it without any help, really simply. And to out someone, so for example, maybe you could out-cook Julia Childs. Julia Childs is a really famous chef in the United States, or at least she used to be. So if you could out-cook her, it means you cook better than she does. Or maybe you can outspeak this guy. You could speak faster than him, which he's the world record holder, so I don't think anyone can. And hey, are you enjoying this video? Do you want more reaction videos like this one? Then why don't you leave a comment down below saying that I want more reaction videos, please react to, and then share a suggestion of a video that you want me to react to, like I've been doing today. I can't wait to see what you guys say. So as you can see from today's video, native speakers also struggle with other people speaking too fast sometimes. I remember the first time that I realized that I couldn't understand Peaky Blinders without subtitles. So when you're listening to a native speaking and you realize that they just seem like they're speaking so fast and you can't understand, don't panic. Don't worry too much about it. Don't let it make you anxious. Look for the gist first. Try to see what pieces of information you can capture already. Don't feel bad if you have to go back and watch again. And even you can slow it down on YouTube, for example. Just like I did while watching today's video, you can go down to 0.75 speed or 0.5 speed, and this can be really helpful when you just feel like the person is speaking too fast for you to understand. And then if you do that, I recommend you go back and watch again once you understand better at full speed to really test your ears to understand it normally. And if it's your goal too to become a confident, natural English speaker, then please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. All this helps to let YouTube know that you want to see more videos just like this one. And don't stop your learning now. I highly recommend that next you watch these 5 advanced secrets that will help you to better understand fast English. Now that's probably how you might hear an English teacher say it in a really slow way, or how a learner might even say this, because it sounds kind of robotic. It's not how you would actually hear a native say this. Now, how would a native say this? A native would say, I'm gonna go to the store. Now, that probably to you sounded like just a really big jumble of sounds, right? It's just not very clear what exactly I was saying if I hadn't said it slowly before. Now, it probably wasn't so hard for you to hear those content words, like the verb go or the noun store. But all those function words in the middle, probably if I hadn't said it slow before, would be completely lost to you.